Roll call.
All right, it looks like online we have Andrew Torney, Carrie Powers, Cheryl Hartman, Chet Krauser, Alicia Beckholz, Kyla Leonards, Melissa Fisher, Sarah Bell, Shane Stack, Violet Plummer, John Petroff, and M. Katz. In 206, we have Commissioner Vero and Strohmeyer, Chris Lounsbury, John Hart, Allison France, Annie Cathy. We have Aaron Couts, and we have Andrew Hagemeyer. Thank you.
And
And myself,
Andrew too.
Andrew too.
Thanks so much. Is there any public comment on items on the agenda?
Just a reminder for everyone, 7 p.m. tonight at the Roxy, a screening of Elemental, Reimagining Wildfire. I will be participating in a panel or Q&A discussion following the movie.
See you all there. I'm gonna be there.
There we go.
Consent agenda, anything that we need to pull out to talk about?
Move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. To our first action item, Hagemeyer.
All right, so what we've got here is a contract we need to sign. It's between us, the Royal We of Missoula County, and WGM for the Y infrastructure plan. You're aware, we've been talking about the Y infrastructure plan for a while now. We're finally ready to start with this, signing this contract. We will be starting on May 22nd. I think the contract total is for about $250,000. Not all the county, not all the money is county money. There's a chunk of MPO money for transportation work as well. We expect it to take about 18 months before the project is finished. And hopefully it really sets a game plan for us, for Missoula County, and how to address infrastructure out of the way.
Is this the first infrastructure plan in Missoula County?
Well, I think of this type, yeah. I mean, Shane and his crew do infrastructure planning all the time, like, you know, in different ways, like what they're doing right now in Lolo. This is the first, we don't know what we need, let's figure it out type plan, I think, that we've done, right? Yeah.
You want to offer any teasers?
Well, we know we need to develop, the plan will develop options on how to address sewer and water, which are the big deficiencies in the area. You know, we've got areas of the Y that have water. They overlap in limited locations, but they don't overlap in large locations. But when you have either one of those, that's where development wants to go. But when you only have half of it, then you get all these other problems. So we need to figure out how to get the other half in place. We've also got a lot of road deficiencies. You know, it is a TIF district or TED district now, one of the two. So there's, you know, there's immediate deficiencies for that organization to try to fix. And then there's long-term deficiencies like of circulation and we'll be looking at all of that in this planning process.
Driven out there recently, deficiency would be an understatement in some cases.
Yes, places there's a swimming pool this time of the year, and then they don't have any water for fire suppression. You know,
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, well, I would move that we approve the PSA.
Second, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
Okay, Aaron Couts.
Good morning. This is a request to approve the chair to sign the crisis diversion grant contract with Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services to fund a little over $1.5 million to help fund local crisis services for the rest of this fiscal year and fiscal year 24. We discussed this a little bit earlier this week, but it helps fund some of the mobile support team. It helps fund some CIT services, tenancy support specialist, our mental health coordinator for the county, referral and outreach coordinator.
CIT is the crisis intervention team.
Yes, thank you. And a little bit will hopefully go to the crisis receiving center for some of their operations once they're up and running.
Very good. I would move that we authorize the chair to sign the contract.
Second, any further discussion?
The only other thing I'll
Yeah.
mention is that hopefully, I also have the subcontracts ready, so those will hopefully be coming to you next week.
Oh, good. Okay.
So, we're not almost, we're almost done with the contract for this, but be prepared for some more coming after this one. So.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Emily Brown, yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming down in person. Yeah.
Well, it was a beautiful day to come over.
Oh, maybe Emily's not on.
I don't see
Chris, you wanna?
Well, I was gonna say, maybe let's jump down and see if she joins, but if not, yes, we can go back up and I can.
Okay.
Cover that.
We'll jump to Chet then. Sorry, Chet Krauser with the PSA. Oh, sorry, didn't see you. Now I see you.
I'm hiding here virtually. Good morning. Let's see. So we'll jump into the first one here. This is a request for the board to approve a professional services agreement with the Clark Fork Coalition for the 2023 River Recreation Ambassador Program. So you had the MOU for this group in the consent agenda. This is essentially the same thing that we've had for the last 2 seasons. So working with the Clark Fork Coalition, the city of Missoula, Fish, Wildlife and Parks, the county, and then we do have some additional community partners that are part of the effort, including ASUM Transportation and other folks to help pull off our overall river recreation management. That partnership continues to grow. For this upcoming year, we do have a little bit of a shift. We continue to decline in terms of the amount of contribution the county has made to that effort. And give me 1 second here and I will scroll quickly to those numbers. The total amount for the program this year under the professional services agreement is $55,000. There will be a $10,000 contribution from Fish, Wildlife and Parks, a $15,000 contribution from the city. And then the remainder of that will be covered hopefully through some fundraising, but then the county will be willing to cover whatever is left of that 55,000, hoping that that amount will be less than that if we're successful in some fundraising efforts. Other than that, really everything has stayed the same. The county will be the one to administer the contract and then have those various partners contribute their funds to the county. And then our contract will just be with the Clark Fork Coalition.
Chad or Chris, remind me, so in our budget, where does this appear? Would this be a one-time ongoing expense?
So this is technically one time because the partners basically commit funding on a year-to-year basis. So it's not part of our base budget. It is one-time funding that comes in. And so this actually spans kind of 2 fiscal years. And the fact, I think they maybe have a little bit of work in June. Is that right, Chad? And then the rest of it's in July and August. So it technically spans a little bit of our fiscal year in the way we have to account for it. But
Yep, that's right, Chris. And so this has been managed out of the Parks, Trails and Open Lands budget in terms of, working with Amanda for where that lives for the accounting purposes, depending upon the partners and whether they have a preference for what fiscal year they end up spending their amounts in. The individual partner, it can vary, I guess, in terms of who's paying that bill, say in June versus the latter part of the summer season, which spans into the next fiscal year. So that's part of the coordination, just in terms of, as an example, if Fish, Wildlife and Parks needs to expend their funds sooner, they may cover the earlier portion of the season, whereas then the later fiscal year funds kick in with the other partners.
Thanks. Well, this is a good program, so I would move that we approve the PSA.
You're not gonna do your best Josh Slotnick interpretation? I mean, he's not here. He cares so much about this program.
I'm speechless. Josh would want us to approve this.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you for that. The next item, if you want me to jump to that one, I think
yes.
I've got as well.
Yep.
Let's see. So this is another professional services agreement. This would be with the National Golf Foundation Consultants. We have had a group of county staff pulled together to start to look at a transition of the Larchmont Golf Course, knowing that our existing contracted model or the contract that's associated with that contracted model for operating Larchmont will expire at the end of this calendar year. We've had a number of conversations already. This will continue those conversations to evaluate options for the county to consider in terms of moving forward as that contract expires. The Professional Golf Foundation Consulting Firm is a firm that works, they're based out of Florida, but they work across the country, largely with municipal golf courses to take a look at the individual course, everything from the facilities and the course condition all the way through the programming, the utilization of the course, the scheduling, and then also the market that both the community is based in, but also nationally, and looking at trends for use and trying to give some projections about both revenue models, potential for growth opportunities moving forward, and then comparing different models, everything from a fully run municipal model to some other form of contracted model. So they'll help evaluate the pros and cons as we move forward to consider our options in how to address those needs at Larchmont. So this group would come on for probably about a 2-month time frame. Most of their work will occur remotely with one site visit, and then we'll do some additional information gathering here that take place over the course of this upcoming golf season. So they'll be able to actually see the course in operation, work with the staff that are there to get input, as well as with the Larchmont Advisory Board. I had gone to the Larchmont board at their last meeting and shared the scope of work that's attached to the professional services agreement. We talked a little bit about what this group could do, and the board voted to approve or recommend us moving forward with this consulting firm to do this evaluation. The amount will be $19,000 total. $16,000 of that is for the professional services, and then there's a $3,000 component that is for that one-time trip to Missoula to see the course and to do that part of the evaluation.
So when is the evaluation complete?
We've
When do
got
we
the sorry, what? I missed the last part of what you said.
Oh, yeah, just when is it done? When do we get to look at it?
They typically have about a 6 to 8 month window of time that they'll complete most of their evaluation work. We have this contract going through the end of October just to give them enough time to make sure if they want to present to the board, present to the commissioners, we've got a little bit of flex time there. But generally speaking, it's about a 6 to 8 month time frame that their evaluations take place in.
So Chet, 6 to 8 weeks, right? Not months.
Weeks, sorry. Thank you, Chris.
Because I was like, it's gonna transition at the end of the year. Okay. So.
Yes, yes. Thank you for that clarification.
No worries.
Well, it seems like a great deal. We rarely see contracts under $20,000 for planning, so it's.
No expensive dinners when they come to Missoula.
Yeah, just the snack bar at the golf course. I have heard that an early recommendation is to convert Larchmont into the largest croquet course on the planet. So croquet is on.
We'll make sure, Dave, that while they're doing their work, they talk to you about these potential opportunities.
I've got more. Okay, I would move that we approve the PSA.
Second, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Thanks, Chet.
Thank you.
Either back or forward, whichever.
Okay, we'll continue on with Kyla.
Oh, I should get my notes.
Oh, yeah, me too. Sorry.
Just a second.
You must be.
She was hot to have this.
Yeah, I can do it.
Agenda, yes,
I can cover it. It's fine.
I could too. So that's what it is. Yeah, I'm not sure.
You fixed anything for I fixed anything?
Well, I didn't read the scope of work.
I did.
but
I was gonna say I did.
I figured you had a sense of what it was going. Andrew could have done a few stuff around too.
That's what I was thinking. It's like, where did Andrew go?
Okay, thanks, Kyla.
Sure, of course. So my item is for board appointments for Open Land Citizen Advisory Committee. There are 3 vacant regular member seats and 2 vacant alternate seats. We had 4 new applicants. I'll read through those names quickly. Steve Snyders, Natalie Sullivan, Corey Bergeris, and Adam Henson. So the motion would be to appoint any or all of these members to the various vacancies on the board.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Well, I think they were all good applicants. I think two of them stand out as best aligning with what we need right now. And those would be Corey Burgess and Natalie Sullivan. And there was another applicant, Steve Snyder, whose background may align better with the Parks Board. So, in reaching out to Steve, we might want to suggest that that would be perhaps a better fit at this point in time.
I can do that.
And I guess with that, I would move that we appoint Corey Burgess and Natalie Sullivan to OLC. And then, well,
Yeah, so then what does that leave us with, Kyla? Because
That
that's,
would leave one regular member seat vacant and the 2 alternate seats vacant.
so I would,
We could
Wow.
re-advertise for those seats if that's of interest.
So-
I agree. I really appreciate Adam Henson applying, but I just didn't feel that his experience was what the board needed at this time. So I agree with you, Dave. Corey and Natalie seem like we could get good work out of them
and re-advertise.
and re-advertise. Okay, so and talk to me about the timeline of,
Once the news release goes out for the vacancies, we have it open for 30 days or longer, just depending on how many applicants we receive and to get a good pool of applicants for appointment for the remaining of the vacant seats.
okay. Let's do that.
Okay.
So I am seconding
I think so.
Dave's motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so I can cover Emily's item.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Andrew was here talking to you about the fact that we're contracting with WGM to do the technical work related to the Y infrastructure plan. And the second contract with Pioneer really is what I'm going to call the bridge piece. So they're going to work with WGM, Missoula County, and the state of Montana's specific office that we work with related to creating Targeted Economic Development Districts, TEDs, which I have a hard time not saying the acronym and using the full word, to put that information into the required state format in order for us to begin actually accumulating increment to use for future projects. And so to some extent, basically, they're taking the really highly technical engineering work that WGM will be doing and then creating the required format and documentation. Pioneer is a sole source procurement in this case because it is who the state selects as a vendor to work with. So they have a specific partnership with the State Department that oversees TEDs. And so this didn't go through our normal procurement process, but was reviewed by Dave Wall to be able to use that sole source procurement since they are the group that has the relationship with the state in order to create that specific format that the state requires. So that is what Pioneer will be doing. They're kind of the bridge between WGM as technical experts and the state in the required formatting.
Okay. A required bridge, because.
A required
Yeah.
bridge, a required bridge. So.
Okay, I would move that we do that and approve the contract.
Second, any other discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know what I think of, every time I hear TED District, I think Ted Baxter on Mary Tyler Moore Show.
That was a great show. Yeah,
Well, yeah, sure, I mean, he was a great character.
he was. Yeah.
TED District.
I watched
it on Nick at Night.
Wait. We're only a few years apart. It is not. Mary Tyler Moore Show was on when we were kids.
No,
Yeah.
I watched it on
Great
Nick at
show.
Night, John.
no idea.
What's that?
No.
Bonanza?
I do know. Yeah.
What was the other one, Dave? There was Bonanza. What was the other one though? With the heart, with the.
Oh,
Oh, sorry,
sorry.
Yeah, people don't have to. listen.
Correspondence, discussion items.
Yeah.
See you at the Roxy tonight at 7.
7 PM,
7
sure.
PM. Okay.
I was trying to think what the other one was besides Bonanza.